Welcome, Rainy Science students. We are looking today at Chapter 1, Section 1, Thinking Like a Scientist. Again, you should have read Chapter 1, Section 1, pages 6 through 12 already, and taken your Cornell notes on this section. And now you're going to watch the video and learn from myself, Mrs. Kim, and Mr. Knox. So here we go. You should have your notes in front of you and your textbook ready to go on page 6. To start out, our daily question, our essential question. This is what we're going to talk about today in our notes. What skills do scientists use to learn about the world? So we're going to now look at and talk about what sorts of things, what skills do scientists do when they're trying to learn about the world around them. The first thing that scientists do is they make observations. So what is an observation? Observations are when scientists gather information about the world around them. How do we gather information? We look around and we see. So by seeing. We can also gather information by feeling. We can gather information by hearing. We can gather information by tasting things and by smelling things. So we look around the world and we observe. We see, we use our senses, and we write down these facts that we see. There are two types of observations that scientists make. The first type of observation is a quantitative observation. Quantitative has to do with quantity. A quantity is a number. So these are observations that use measurements or numbers. For instance, I could say, I see 2 fish. It's a quantitative observation because I'm counting 1, 2 fish. A qualitative observation has to do with the quality of something. This does not involve measurements or numbers. This is just an observation. For instance, the fish looks happy. I can't measure that with a ruler or a scale. There's no numbers, but I'm still observing the fish's behavior. Mrs. Kim's going to help us talk about these observations a little bit more. Mrs. Kim?
Okay, I want to go over some more examples of observations, starting with quantitative observations. Remember, think of the word quantity. In Spanish, cuantos. It has to do with numbers. So if you took a ruler and you measured your pencil and found out, hey, my pencil is 5 inches long, that would be a quantitative observation. Okay, Kevin went to the doctor measured his height and said, hey, you're 6 feet tall. That would be a quantitative observation. Okay, your cat is getting kind of big. You wanted to see how much it weighed and you put it on the scale and it said 12 pounds. That would be another example of quantitative observation. Think of the word quantity, numbers. The other kind, qualitative observations, does not involve numbers. So if you looked at your pen and noticed that it had red ink, you would say, hey, my pen has red ink. That would be a qualitative observation. Okay, if you took your old shoe and decided to smell it and said, ooh, my shoes are smelly, that would be a qualitative observation. A new student comes into the classroom and has spiky hair and you go, hey, Matt has spiky hair. That would be a qualitative observation. Think of the word quality. Okay, so what I would like you to do is pause right now and look at this picture or observe this picture. Of course, you can't smell or taste it, but you can observe it by looking at it. And why don't you write down 2 qualitative and 2 quantitative observations from the picture. Okay, you might have said that the kelp is green. That would be a qualitative observation. Or there are 3 fishes in the picture. That would be a quantitative observation. Or the water is blue. That would be qualitative. And if you counted the number of bubbles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, there are 11 bubbles in the picture. That would be a quantitative observation. Okay, here is Mr. Knox.
Another skill that scientists use to investigate the world is inferences. Scientists make inferences, and an inference is it's based on an observation. There it is. An inference is based on observation, and you use prior knowledge. For example, if Jose is gone from school today, he was here yesterday, he was here the day before, he's gone today. An inference, something that explains why Jose might be gone, is an inference would be Jose is sick today. So it explains what you observed. So that is an inference. So some examples. Some examples is, what's that? Oh yes, very good, Mrs. Kim. Mrs. Kim reminded me, an inference is not necessarily true. It just explains your observation, or tries to explain. So some examples are: Maria's not at school, she must be sick. Sam is very tall is the observation. Ooh, Sam must drink lots of milk. So these inferences are not necessarily true. They just attempt to explain your observation. All right, pause it right now and make an inference about this picture you see. All right, welcome back, and you guys should have wrote in your notes an inference about this picture here. All right, prediction. Another skill that scientists use is to predict. What prediction is making a forecast about the future, whether it be 1 millisecond into the future, or 1 hour, or 1 year, or 1,000,000 years. It's about the future. It's an inference about the future, and you look for patterns to help you out with these predictions. You probably heard of predictions a lot when the weatherman predicts that there is a good chance of rain. So he's predicting that there will be rain in the future based on weather patterns. So a prediction is about the future. All right, pause it and make a prediction about what you think is going to happen in the class. All right, welcome back. And scientists also classify things. Scientists organize things into groups or events, okay? And what I want you guys to do is take a moment to classify these objects into 3 different categories. So you can pause it now. Now, some of you guys might have classified these by color, which is fine. Grouped all the yellows, all the reds, and all the blues together, that's great. Some of you guys might have classified it by shape. That's fine too. And still others might have classified it by size, large, medium, and small. So these are skills that scientists use to help them interpret and study the natural world. Thank you, and remember, take good notes because there's going to be a quiz on this. Thank you so much.